Hello there and welcome back to the Non-League Podcast with myself, Lee Simons. I'd like to thank everyone who has taken part so far, but I've got another special guest with me today. I've got the Gorleston joint first team manager, Scott Butler. How are you, Scott? Welcome to the show.
Hello, mate. I'm very well, thank you. Yourself?
Yeah, good, mate. Good. Thank you very much. Enjoying the weather in this isolation. I know it's been 4 weeks for me, but I'm glad that the sun is out and it's not raining, which is good.
Yeah, it makes it a little bit more bearable when we're stuck indoors. If we can sit in the garden and enjoy the sun, maybe have a nice cold beer.
Oh yes, definitely. And I've got a few in the fridge already, so I might have to have one later on. So Scott, if people are not listening to this and people don't know you, can we just have a little bit of an introduction from yourself and how you got into football?
So obviously my name's Scott Butler. Getting into football has been something that has been in the family for many years, and I think like any sport, I think the social side as well is always important. So any youngster that's sort of sitting on their console at home and that, I would encourage them to get out and join a club because the social aspect is massive. But for me personally, getting involved in football, it goes through generations really, and I was very keen to play the sport from a very young age, and it's just basically spiralled from there really.
Oh, that's perfect. So whereabouts did you start playing football, like in your younger days, should we say?
So my younger days was very sort of local to where I live now, living in sort of the Gorleston area. Very young, I was playing for the likes of Shrublands and Gorleston Rangers, and then literally from the age of sort of 16, I then started playing for Gorleston. First played for Gorleston Reserves at the age of 16, and then obviously under 18s and so on from there. I'm now a little bit older, should we say, so I've been mainly with Gorleston literally all the way through my adult side of things.
Wow, that seems like, because you just want to play for Gorleston, or did you have any like other places that you wanted to go to play for, or did you have any like offers or anything else?
Not really. Gorleston was always the side for me that I wanted to play for. My dad played for him for many years. He also obviously managed the reserves. He was joint manager with Robert Fleck at the first team. Yeah. So even from sort of the age of sort of 7, 8, I was down Emerald Park watching him. My granddad goes to Emerald Park quite a lot. We had a season obviously across the water, which people don't let us forget, where we went to Yarmouth when my brother first started his managerial career, if you like. So a few of us went over across the water there, but even then my granddad wouldn't really come across. He was at Emerald Park every week, cheering on the greens. And Gorleston has always been the sort of side I've always wanted to play for. I had a stint at Caister, Acle, and there are a lot of really good clubs around here. But for me, Gorleston was always the place that I wanted to play.
Oh wow! Because when I was growing up down in like Ipswich area, there was only like a couple of teams I played for. So it's only Morley. I only done like Sunday League stuff. So I was like just playing for like Claydon Reserve, Claydon Juniors and stuff like that. So. But because of my height and everything, I used to be in goal most of the time. But never mind. That's one of those things I had to do. But because I didn't kind of make it as a player, I went into like refereeing. So that I was a qualified referee since I was the age of 14. So it was kind of special for me to do that and go from there really. But of course, I didn't get into playing football as much. And I moved up to Thetford, and of course managed to watch a few games at Thetford Town and kind of enjoyed it really. Yeah,
good. Do you miss wrestling? Is that something you miss now, or?
Because I had to have a choice really. It's either refereeing or had to work. So I kind of, because I was going for promotion as well. Unfortunately, I didn't get promotion. And I needed to go into like the Saturday teams, like yourself, Gorleston, Thetford, those sort of teams. So I needed to go the next step, but unfortunately, work had to go on a Saturday. So I kind of think to myself, do I really want to go back there or not? But that's one of the reasons why I now do the highlights for like Thetford yourselves or Montford, Norwich United, any team I go and see really. So that's mainly what I do now, is just trying to get the non-league scene really to see, like watching it on social media really.
Yeah, well, you do a cracking job, mate, to be fair.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
So when you were at Gorleston Reserves, when you were playing, how did you get into the management side of it?
To be honest, a lot of it was so we set up a Saturday side a few years back, or my mate set up the Saturday side a few years back, and I kind of helped him with the sort of team talks. And I was playing at the time, and it's something I really enjoyed. And then after the year at Yarmouth with Rick as first team manager, and I played for him for that season, I then kind of got to a stage where, I couldn't be bothered to train and things like that, and you then start thinking, actually, am I now getting to that stage where I just want to stop playing?
Yeah.
And Rick then obviously got offered the Gorleston first team job. The reserves at the time were in the Regions Reserve League. They'd just finished bottom, had a bit of a rough time of it. They didn't have a manager in place, and Rick sort of said to me, and with obviously the Alan Gordon, the chairman at the time, would I be interested in taking over the reserves and going from there? And so after I thought about it and thought, let's give it a go.
Yeah.
It's either going to go one of two ways. I'll either miss playing and want to get back into it, or not enjoy the management side of things, or I really enjoy it and then try and progress through that. And I really enjoyed it. And since then, I think because I've then got involved in that side of things, I've not missed playing as much.
No.
And I think when you've been playing for so long, for so many years, I think to just stop and not be involved in the game, I think that's really hard to take.
Yeah.
But I think when you go into sort of managing, coaching, or any part of the football scene off the pitch, I think it's a bit easier to then stop playing.
Yeah.
So that's how I then got into management, basically.
Okay, so the first season, because you were in the Gorleston Reserves, how did that go for yourself? Because did you have like a really young team to kind of mould?
I mean, to be fair, after the conversation with Alan and Rick at the time was, like I said, they'd just come out of the Regions Reserve League, which is a lot of travelling for a reserve team.
Yeah.
They'd finished bottom. They'd really struggled in it. They'd struggled to get players. So we sort of said to the Anglian Com, we want to come back to the Anglian Com. Obviously, Gorleston Reserves had come out of the Prem to go into the Regions Reserve League for a few years. We wanted to go back in the Anglian Com, and the Com, rightfully so. You can't just pick where you play. You have to follow the guidelines. Said, that's fine. They accepted us, but we had to start in Division 5.
That's understandable.
So the conversation, literally with the chairman and Rick at the time, was actually for a club like Gorleston, for us to progress players the best we can. We need them playing competitive games every week. So actually, my goal, if you like, that I was set from the chairman at the time, was to get Gorleston Reserves in senior football basically as quick as possible, or at least as far up the pyramid as we could. So we assembled a young side, but we also got some experience in there as well. We had a good mix of players, and obviously on the back of that, we have managed to climb the table back into senior football now.
Well, that's really good, because you had, was it 5? Did you say 5 years or 4 years into the Anglian Com?
I've done 4 years. I've done 4 years with the reserves, and obviously we were very fortunate. We won obviously 4 back-to-back titles. We won 2 League Cups, and then obviously last year's Junior Cup at Carrow Road, and then now in senior football. But like I say, everyone can say, with the squad we had, the club that it was and the club that it is, you should be doing that, and they're absolutely right. I mean, if we wouldn't have got the promotions we did, and that, everyone would be saying, well, that's poor from you.
Yeah.
But actually, you can only win what's in front of you, and I've said all the way through it that actually the players that we had, youngsters, experience, they stuck together, they stuck at it, and I was very fortunate to have a very good squad, very good club every season, but they enjoyed it, they put it in, the standards were high, it wasn't a case of, well, we're too good for this, it was just making sure we get jobs done. And I think now the fact that they're in senior football, And to be fair, Dale and Aaron, who are now in charge of the reserves, had them in second place this year, looking to push to the Prem. And that's where we want to be. And I think when you look at the club side of things now, to have both reserves and first team in senior football, to move a club forward, I think that's massive. And that was basically the main aim when I was reserve manager, was just to get that team back in senior football. Especially where Gorleston first team is, because if you're getting a player coming up from England Com Division 4, and no disrespect to them, but there were some games where we might be winning 7 or 8-0, and then you call them up to the first team on a Saturday to go away to, Manchester or somewhere. Actually, that gap is massive, and it's such a big step. Whereas at least if the reserves are in senior football, to come into the first team football, it's not such a big gap.
Yeah, definitely.
And step up. So, and that was always the aim. We've been fortunate enough to do it. I don't think there's many clubs that can sort of boast that they've got 2 sort of senior sides. No,
exactly, because you had those back-to-back promotions, like all 4 back-to-back promotions, shall I say, and then of course you had that final at Carrow Road. How was that day for you when you were actually at Carrow Road and actually going into that final? How was that for you?
To be fair, I've been very lucky that I've sort of played there a couple of times in Senior Cup finals, and sort of the 2 years prior to that as well, with my Sunday Windmill side as well, as sort of joint manager with Tours 1 year, and then I assisted and helped Levi at Windmill in the sort of Senior Cup run the following year. I'd managed a couple of times there, but for me, the actual Gorleston Reserves winning the Junior Cup was something that was special to me because of the club, being at Gorleston. But to be fair, I mean, the lads were brilliant. We didn't actually go into it in any different way. It was just another game on a very nice pitch in a very nice stadium. But it was something that, I wanted to give back because, and everyone's right, they expect us to win the leagues we were in. I get all that, but actually to go and win a county cup final, that sort of, for me, sets where that squad was, where, at what level they were, and they were the best side in junior football. And I've always said that actually that was the players that, yes, I managed them, but actually the squad I had went out and delivered week in, week out, and they, the club, the committee, they deserved that Junior Cup final night. Spurs were a very good side, and it was a tough final, but it was something that we went into very confident, and I think on the night we were sort of the standout side, in my opinion.
Well, that sounds amazing, especially getting those promotions and then, of course, the cup final as well for you. That's really well done for you and the players, really, and, of course, your management team, what you had.
Yeah, I mean, like I say, and I'll always say, I mean, we're in a world where, some people like you being successful, some people won't, some people can't wait to shoot you down, some people want to pick holes in what you do, but actually what we set out to do and getting it in senior football, and actually what the players every year, whatever squad we had, whoever come in or went or left or come back or signed, whatever, they all bought into the way the club wanted to play, the way the reserves were playing at that time, and actually, I've always said, I give all the praise to the players. Yes, like I say, we as a management team, we guide and we pick the sides and that, but every single side I put out, I knew would give me 100%. And like I say, they proved that because it was four very successful seasons, and even this season where there's been a bit of a change, actually Aaron and Dale have continued it, like I say, since second in Division 1, going really well, and again, it's just the standard that the players have set themselves, and I'll always give all credit to them for what Gorleston Reserves have done.
Well, that sounds really good, and hopefully that will continue for the coming season, whenever that will be. But moving on to the season which has just been void, how did that come about for you and your brother being like the first joint managers, really?
I mean, obviously it was. The Gorleston first team, unfortunately, for the last couple of years have had a difficult couple of seasons, should we say?
Yeah.
And obviously we went into pre-season with the management team still the same. Obviously after a couple of defeats into the season, the chairman, the committee obviously decided to make a change.
Yeah.
They then got in contact with both Rick and myself, after Stewie Larter leaving, and offered us the job. And for us, it was a no-brainer. I mean, Rick obviously was doing a good job at Caister, but he's a bit like me. He's a Gorleston boy, and for us, the best job round here is any job involved at Gorleston, and the pinnacle for us is the first team. So it was a no-brainer saying yes to it.
Yep.
And obviously we then went in. A lot of it was to make sure that we stabilised what we had. We brought someone into the reserves to continue what they were doing.
Yeah.
And for us, it was a case of what can we get out of the players for the rest of the season, and then when we get into the new pre-season, if you like, that's when we can start, really having a look at structure and how we want to do things and sort of staffing and all that stuff. But actually, the players that we've got here are good enough for us to take it to the next level. But I thought it was a tough one because I felt we saw some changes in some games, and other games we just weren't at the races. We weren't good enough.
Yeah.
It was a tough season, and me and Rick are first to say, it didn't go the way we wanted it to. So I think, we saw a change in play, and a lot of supporters were saying you can see the change in the players and what they were doing and how hard they were working. And there were some games we didn't quite get the rub of the green, but there was other games we just weren't at the races, didn't turn up and got exactly what we deserved.
Yeah.
But the first thing for me and Rick when we went in was, look, we trust you here. We're not here to make wholesale changes. We're not here to try and bring people in. Reality is, one, budget-wise, we can't compete with the big boys. And two, actually, as a player, trying to persuade people to come to a club that are currently, unfortunately, sitting bottom of the table and struggled sort of the previous season and blah, 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 and all the sort of stuff that goes on and all the rumours. It was, a case of, actually, we trust you what's here, but you're basically this season, you are playing for your shirts.
Yeah.
And yeah, like I say, we're the first to hold our hands up and say, actually, it didn't quite go as we wanted to.
No.
But, we started seeing changes, and ironically the last game we played was probably our best performance when we turned over Walsham 6-0 at home. And then unfortunately 3 days later the coronavirus hit and we had to sort of stop playing.
I remember that eventful night because you were playing, as you were saying, Walsham, Thetford were playing Ely City as well. It's like those three teams that kind of needed the win. So
that's right.
So we actually went down to Ely City, and of course we got the 3 points. And when I saw your result, I thought, wow, that must have been a good morale boosting for you guys, especially coming in like halfway through the season and getting that 6-0 win against a Walsham side.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, for me, in a lot of the games, that was what we were threatening to do to people.
Yeah.
And we weren't clinical enough in front of goal. Our decision making weren't quite there, and then it would be a silly mistake at the other end, and suddenly we're behind. And I think the mentality of the players, unfortunately, because of the position they are in, because of the losing streak, which went back quite a while, or how many games you've won in so many games, and they were reminded of it on social media and blah blah blah. I think the moment they go behind, you can see that the whole persona of them just drops, and it's like, well, actually, you're already beaten. Sometimes we may as well have gone, right, that's it, we're 1-0 down, let's walk, because that's the image they were given. But other games, they were turning up, and we could have been outside before we conceded the other end. And like I say, the night at Walsham, it was something that actually, we put somebody to bed, but that was coming, and that had been coming for weeks and weeks and weeks. Because the players were working hard, even on the training pitch and in games, some games we couldn't ask any more from them, but sometimes you need that bit of luck, and it is true, they say, when you're down there, it goes against you, and we had a lot of that, which I'm sure all the other clubs down there did as well. That's just football.
Definitely.
But yeah, I mean, we were confident after that night. I think when you looked at the league tables and with games in hand and that performance, and you're thinking, actually, that's probably just what we needed, a result like that to kick-start it. So we were confident, and I do feel for the likes of Stowmarket and that, where the season's now finished, but and people will point the finger and say, well, Gorleston will be happy with it, and Thetford and whoever else, but actually that's not true. We didn't want it to finish. This isn't the way we wanted the season to finish.
No.
We were confident that we'd get out of it. and we wanted to prove that. So, from a club point of view, we were disappointed that, despite what people may think, we were disappointed it ended. I think with the table as it was, with the games in hand, it's going to be an exciting end to it as well.
Yeah, definitely, yeah.
And I think what people don't realise as well is, you were against the other leagues as well because of the restructuring. So actually, the points that ourselves and Ely and Thetford and Walsham and teams like that had, actually they were top of, if you like, a very poor league, because that was the league of, who goes up, who stays down, who stays in their league or whatever. But actually the points we had in the furlough none was going to be enough, even with points per game, to keep us up.
Well, that's the main thing, isn't it?
Exactly. But like I say, we were, just to go on record, we were very disappointed that the league finished that way, because, the players especially wanted to prove that they would get out of it. But like I say, that's football, and reality is your health, life and all that is a lot more important than
exactly
the
right.
football league table.
Exactly right. But since I've been watching non-league football since 2017, it's like it seems like the standard has got a lot better since I've been going to watch Thetford and you guys as well, and it seems to me that it seems to be a lot more quicker and it's a lot more physical down in the non-league stuff. So it seems to me that it's getting there, but it seems to be when we do like these social media things, like do highlights, we do like podcasts like this, and I'm trying to get it out to people who haven't kind of seen it, and trying to make people actually come, say like in Thetford or Gorleston or Great Yarmouth or Stowmarket, to actually go and watch these games, because you never know, people might enjoy it.
And I can agree more. I think obviously we all love watching the big boys and the professional game, but I would say go to your local club and have an afternoon out there, because like I say, you're absolutely right. I think when you look over the last few years, I think standard may have dropped a few years back, but I think now when you look at the last few seasons, it's picking up again, and
definitely.
And, we've played some really good sides this year, and when you look at some of the players in them divisions, there's no doubt about it. Some of them can play higher. Some of them, they put on a performance week in, week out. I think what you guys are doing to promote it is brilliant. I think you'll always get, social media is a big thing. Obviously, you always get them people that want to knock things and put people down and put things down and have their own agendas, their own comments, their own thoughts. And no matter what you say or do, you won't change that. But actually, for those that are sitting there thinking, what am I going to do on a Saturday afternoon? I'd encourage them to go down to their local football game, because, like I say, it's a good atmosphere, and the clubhouse is open. You've got fish and chips or whatever the club serve down their grounds as well.
Definitely,
And then obviously you got the football on the pitch. So
exactly.
I agree with you. Like I say, it's just getting people to see it.
Exactly, because you can actually have a look, like a chat with the manager, like yourself, Scott, and I have a chat with Matt and a few of the Thetford players as well, and it seems to be like a real big family, really, in my eyes. Because, like I say, going back to 2017 when I only done a few little bits, and it was quite nice that some people wanted like the footage. They wanted to talk to you, how you getting on with stuff, how you doing it, like that. Because I know a few people who do it. Of course, myself. We've got James doing it. We've got Stowe TV, Woodpeckers TV as well. I know yourself is looking for someone for next season as well. So it's all going in the right direction for the non-league.
Yeah, and that's the thing. It is. I mean, you hit now and everything. You say it's like a family. I mean, we're not the only club. I mean, there's many are doing it, but actually, what we're trying to build at Gorleston, especially with it sort of now being sort of an extended pre-season, if you like. Gorleston have always been that we want to be a community club, we want to be a family club. People always make the effort with each other. You want that one club feel, and like I say, we'll always, and the players are saying, they'll always make the effort with people in the clubhouse and that afterwards.
Oh, definitely. But
actually, a lot of what we want to do now is to bring back that sort of one club feel at Emerald Park. That family. Let's go down to Emerald, and it's a really good day out. It's a really good afternoon out, if you like. Catch up with people after the game. And especially people like yourself and Sean and people like that really try and promote local football. Because like I say, without you guys, that becomes even more of a struggle to promote things.
Yeah.
but like you say, that every club has got that sort of sociable community feel about it, and so it should, because actually we need the supporters. They're the most important people.
Exactly. Because when Thetford went into the Norfolk Cup final against Dereham, we took over 1,000 fans there. That's because of tweeting up. Because I done a live stream against the semi-final against Mapleshall. I had over probably 200 people watching it over the game. So that was pretty good. Of course, I was tweeting it up and everything else, and we didn't get the result. But it's about the team, it's about the club, and it's about trying to get the next step for them, really. And
100%. And social media is a big thing. I mean, like I say, some people might think that some people tweet too much and they promote too much, but I just don't think you can do that on social media. You can't do it too much, because actually all you're trying to do is build something for the future, for it to maintain, to try and encourage people, and show what your club is doing, what the community is trying to do, what you're trying to be involved in. And like I say, that at grassroots level, that's needed for it to survive anyway. So I think social media is a great platform to promote things. And as I said, you do get the odd ones that will try and knock people and get on at clubs and all that. And we all get it, we all see it, we all think it, but it is what it is. But yeah, social media is massive, I think, for the future of sort of grassroots football and promoting what clubs are doing.
Yeah, most definitely. But coming up to the next season, really, whenever that starts, so what is your plans for next season? Because I've seen that you've done a few things trying to get your own stamp on the club. So how are you going on about next season?
Yeah, I mean, like I say, the season just gone. This unfortunately finished sort of a bit early. Was a case of, well, actually, boys, this is where we are. There's not too much you can change once the season started.
No.
But you try and implement things and do different things. But for me and Rick, we sat down in this sort of season and said, right, what do we need? Where do we need it? And when are we going to do it?
Yeah.
Obviously, the biggest thing for us at the moment, the fact that everyone's stuck indoors and apart from people going to work and that, but actually you can't get on the football field or training field, is the sort of behind the scenes stuff.
Yeah.
And we've got some great people working behind the scenes. Obviously, just to mention that you're all aware that unfortunately, recently we lost our former chairman, Alan Gordon, which was sort of really sad day for many of us.
Yeah, I bet it was.
And hard to take at the club. And what he done at Gorleston and how he's helped with the move, I just want to mention him because, like I say, he was somebody who also gave me the jobs at the club as well. And that's a big miss for us.
I bet it is.
But looking forward, obviously, to next, a new chairman's come in, great guy, and actually he's really hungry to move the club forward. And I think behind the scenes, the people that we've got that supporting the move that you've probably seen on social media,
yes,
our social media page, and what we're doing. We've got some great people behind the scenes, which has made mine and Rick's job a lot easier because we can then concentrate on the management side of things. But the biggest thing for us really was getting a management team, a staff base that everyone's on the same page. We can sort of be very close together and knitted together. Everyone wants the same drive, the same success, the same thought process, and that was our biggest thing to start with. So, we've obviously announced some management sort of promotions, changes, sort of job roles that have been filled recently.
Yeah.
We're excited to work with them. I think we've got some really good people in. Obviously Lewis Plowman's coming in as first team coach, which we think is an absolute great addition. Craig Lewis has obviously been announced today with regards to coming in as joint under-18s manager with Darren Cockrell, which again is a brilliant appointment for ourselves. Sort out the physio side of things with Ryan and Ross, and there should be a couple more sort of announcements sort of imminent.
Yeah.
So getting the staff that me and Rick want in place is the most important.
Yep.
At this current stage, basically there's also work going on behind the scenes with the pitch. I mean, we've had ground care into that, like this week, to improve the pitch.
Yep.
There'll be other things going on around the stadium and just sprucing up, if you like, a little bit before the new season. Mainly obviously for the players, for it to be more professional, in our opinion.
Yep.
But also more welcoming to supporters and people that come down and support the club. But like I say, without giving too much away, because obviously I can't do that. There is a hell of a lot going on behind the scenes at the moment, which people don't see. But yeah, I mean, it is like a second job. It's relentless at the moment.
I bet it is.
We're doing it because actually, I think with the few seasons or the recent seasons that the supporters have had, I think us and the players owe it to them to have a good season, and we're confident we'll do that.
Exactly. Is every team's wanting to go to that top spot, don't they? Really, and they're trying to go for like a cup run, maybe. Like you got the Norfolk Senior Cup. You never know. You might get a chance to go to Carrow Road again.
Yeah, 100%. And that's, I think when you look at the players we have, and I always say I'm a big believer in saying it, that actually you win nothing on paper. What is wrote on paper is irrelevant. But actually, when you look at the players that are at the club, I think there's not many better around this area.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
In any other side, I think the squad we've got throughout the club, reserves, first team, and the youngsters that are coming through, some of them. We've got a lot of quality there. I think the mindset, the determination, the fitness, the fight, all the things that actually you can kind of influence a little bit, but actually stuff that's got to come from within the players. Yeah. I think if they can just turn their mindsets, then there's no reason in minor Rick's head where they can't go and win a senior cup. They can't promote themselves and get right up the other end of the table and go on a good Vars run. There's nothing. We're not looking at our squad going, we need to make massive changes here. Yeah. We're actually looking at them going, actually, if you get your mindset right and you get your fitness right, we've got a good chance of doing this, this and this. Yeah. But I will say the players have bought into it. We are doing things, even though we're kind of in this lockdown period, we are doing things at the moment where, they are working hard to get their fitness levels up. So yeah, I think everyone's bought into what we want to do in the new season. It's just a case of waiting until we can finally get back on the training pitch and start implementing things.
I bet you.
Yeah, there is a lot going on behind the scenes.
Well, I wish you all the success in the world for next season. Of course, when we can get back on that pitch and actually watching some football, I do wish you all the best for that, Scott. And I thank you very much for stopping by and talking to me today.
Absolute pleasure, mate. Thanks very much for your time.
No problem. So thank you very much for listening, guys. Hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you in the next one.